So my wife, 28F, and I, 28M, have been together for the past 7 years, and have been married for the past 2 years. Recently, at a dinner party that she hosted, she announced that she was pregnant, but after a prank on all of us. Unfortunately, that whole thing backfired horribly, and right now, I have no idea what to do. For context, the pregnancy announcement was supposed to be a surprise and I didn't know about it either. I thought the dinner party was being hosted just because she wanted to get the families together because we hadn't all hung out in a long time. It started off pretty well, everyone came over, we were having a good time, and then all of a sudden, she made the announcement that she had something to share with the entire family, and that's why she had gathered us all here today. All of us were curious, especially me, because I really thought that she was announcing her pregnancy at first since she had made such a big deal out of it. But then, I got the shock of my life, and she started talking about me and my affair. I've always been loyal to my wife, I couldn't even dream of having an affair of any kind, so I was dumbstruck, and so was everybody else. She made up some story about me and my coworker and told me that she had seen us together, and I couldn't deny it anymore, so she decided to expose me in front of the entire family, and now, we are going to get divorced. I was almost on the verge of tears because I knew for a fact that none of this had happened. I had no idea what she was talking about, but she sounded pretty serious, so I was about to start begging her to hear me out, but then she burst out laughing. And that took everyone by shock, including me, after which she finally announced that this was just a prank and she had actually hosted the party to announce that she was finally pregnant. She played it pretty cleverly, and we all started celebrating almost immediately, completely forgetting about the prank. I had thought it was a little ghoulish of her to pull a prank like that, but anyway, I was ready to forgive that because of the pregnancy announcement that came later. However, just as we were all about to get up and congratulate her, my sister-in-law started to make an announcement of her own. Ronnie, my sister-in-law, is 2 years younger than my wife, and they have always been the best of friends. So when she announced that she was really disappointed by the fact that even now, my wife had chosen to keep her secrets, instead of being honest with me, I was a bit threatened. And then, it got worse when she announced that it was really disgusting of her to pull a prank like that, when in fact, it was she who had been cheating on me every time that her ex came back to town. Apparently, she had caught them out on a date at a restaurant and she hadn't managed to get any pictures, so it was just her word against my wife's, but she wanted me to believe her. After Ronnie said that, my wife started yelling at her immediately, telling her that she was lying and just wanted to ruin her marriage because she couldn't find anybody for herself. My wife was furious, but I was just really confused as to what to believe because she and her ex had been together for many years when they were in high school. And even when my wife and I started going out in college, we had an on and off relationship for a couple of years in the beginning, all because of her ex-boyfriend. He refused to let her go, and she kept patching up with him too, but after several breakups, I made it clear to her that she could either commit to me or let me go. And she chose me. I thought that would be it, but after hearing Ronnie say this, I don't know what to believe anymore. I would believe my wife in a heartbeat if Ronnie and she had had a terrible relationship, but from what I knew, she and her sister had always been the best of friends. And that's why I just can't seem to get it out of my head. Besides, the story that Ronnie told us all at the party regarding how she had caught them together, it just seemed too specific to be made up. She even mentioned the restaurant where she had seen them at and told us that for the past 3 months, she had been keeping this a secret because she wanted my wife to tell me the truth because it would probably only hurt more coming from her. Apparently, Ronnie had even told her sister to come clean to me several times, but my wife had refused, and when she started talking about my affair as a prank at the dinner party while building up to her pregnancy announcement, she just thought it was distasteful and felt like she had to say something. Because now that my wife was pregnant, there was also the question of whether the baby was actually mine or not, and all these things have been eating me up on the inside, but I've been trying to make it look like I'm alright. After Ronnie's announcement, my wife kicked her out of the house and asked everybody else to leave as well, so we could speak in private. And since it was just our families, nobody else knows what's been going on yet. My wife has been trying to convince me that Ronnie was lying just for the sake of it, but I can't think of a single reason why she would make up something like this because we've all had a good relationship so far. And now that I think of it, for the past couple of months, Ronnie has been acting strange around my wife and they don't even talk to each other as much as they used to. So she might be telling the truth. There's just no way for me to find out because there's no proof of anything yet. So last night, I couldn't take it anymore and I told my wife that if she really had nothing to hide, then I would want to go through her phone. I told her that I wanted to do it immediately, so she wouldn't have the chance to delete or hide anything. And she immediately started screaming at me, telling me that the fact that I was even entertaining the idea that she was cheating on me was very insulting for her. I could totally understand where she was coming from since I would probably feel the same way if she did something like that, but the thing is, nobody has ever given her a reason to feel like she needs to doubt me. I've been fully committed to her right from the beginning, even when she was confused about me and her ex. I told her that I really wanted to trust her, but she is aware of the fact that her ex-boyfriend is a sore spot for me. Besides, she knows that she and Ronnie have been very close. She wouldn't just lie about something like this to ruin our marriage for no reason. She was literally the maid of honor at our wedding. It seems unlikely that she would suddenly turn on her, and there's no smoke without fire, so I just wanted to go through her phone for my own peace of mind. And my wife refused. She told me that she was not letting me go through her phone at any cost. Because if I didn't trust her, it meant that I trusted Ronnie more than my wife. So she suddenly turned this into a loyalty test, asking me to pick a side, even telling me that maybe I had developed feelings for Ronnie and this was something that both of us were cooking up to go against her or something. I obviously told her that it was BS that she was even coming up with a theory like this, and so we got into a huge fight after that, probably one of our worst ones ever. She told me that if I couldn't even trust her, then she didn't want to be with me, but I stood my ground and told her that I needed this. Eventually, she left so she could go stay with her parents, and now, I feel terrible about whatever has happened. I know for a fact that I'm being paranoid, but again, why on earth would Ronnie lie about something like this? I feel bad that I'm doubting my wife after so many years of being together, especially when she's pregnant, but I can't help it. Ida for demanding to check my wife's phone? Edit. A lot if you wanted more information about my wife's relationship with her ex, so this is all I know. She and her ex had been together since they were 14 and decided to break up mutually before they headed out for college, since they were going to different places. But by the time they started college, they felt like getting back together, and so they did. And unfortunately, they figured out pretty quickly that long distance was not for them, and that's how the whole on and off thing started. Then, while she was in college, she met me and started developing feelings for me as well. But she was very confused about what to do, and I decided to give her more space initially because I really liked her, and I wanted to be with her. So I did not pressure her to commit to me in the beginning, but then, when it started feeling like she was making me hang around as backup, that's when I decided to give her the ultimatum. After that, she finally started taking me seriously, and within a couple of months, she and her ex had broken up for good. It was not mutual when they broke up for the final time, but she had dumped him because she wanted to be with me, and they were done and dusted, even though he wanted her back. She had been completely transparent with me about the whole situation and had even apologized for not treating me right, but since then, things have been really good between us. Of course, they've been good, otherwise, we wouldn't even be here today, but nevertheless, she knows that I'm a bit insecure when it comes to her ex. Apart from like 2 flings that didn't even last more than 3 months, we are the only 2 serious boyfriends that she has ever had. And given the whole on and off scenario in the beginning, I think it's natural for me to feel insecure about him. Anyway, I think that's enough information about my wife and her ex, so you guys can make up your mind. Update 1. Hey, thanks to everyone who commented on my post. The comments themselves were pretty divided on what I should do or whether I am the bad guy here or not, but well, it is a complicated situation, so I don't blame anybody here. It's been 3 days since my wife left, and I've spoken to everybody about this, everybody in the family, that is, since I still don't feel comfortable enough bringing this up with any of my friends. It's way too personal, and I'm trying to keep this limited to the people who already know about the situation. My parents haven't been very helpful. They've told me that they can see both perspectives, and without knowing the truth, they can't come to a conclusion, which is fair enough, I guess, but also not very helpful. My in-laws have refused to get involved at all. The only thing that they have told me is that my wife is miserable right now, and she and Ronnie are also having a lot of trouble. Since she has gone back to stay with her parents, it's become a bit of a problem for them because Ronnie stays in an apartment quite close to their parents, and they have to see each other very frequently since she visits her parents often, which means that they have been fighting a lot. My wife has been accusing Ronnie of trying to ruin our marriage, and Ronnie insists that she's telling the truth. She wouldn't stand anything to gain from trying to ruin our marriage anyway. Which is also fair enough, and it's just messing with my head even more. The only person I haven't spoken to about any of this yet is Ronnie, because honestly, I don't even know what to ask her. I feel like I should speak to her since she is the one who opened the Pandora's box in the first place, but I don't even know how I'm gonna approach her. Besides, I feel like if I ask her about this, and my wife somehow finds out, that will be the end of our marriage. Not that I'm very hopeful about fixing this in the first place, because our future together seems pretty bleak right now. Anyway, even though I'm very confused about what to do, I know that at some point, I'm just gonna have to suck it up and talk to her so I can get the details of what she saw and how she found out whatever she is claiming has happened. That's the only way I think I can get to the bottom of this mess. Update 2. So I finally ripped off the band-aid, and I've decided to talk to Ronnie about whatever she had said at the party. It's been 2 days since my last update, and after a lot of deliberation, I decided to call her up. I didn't care about what my wife would think about this. Right now, I couldn't afford to care about that because I needed to find out the truth. Ronnie answered the call almost instantly and told me that she knew what I was calling about before I could say anything. She apologized to me for bringing everything up in front of our families, but it was just my wife's prank that had rubbed her the wrong way. She told me that for the past 3 months, after she had caught my wife with her ex at the restaurant, she had confronted her about it, and my wife had been promising her that she would come clean to me at some point, but it had never happened. And obviously, it had strained their relationship greatly as well because she couldn't believe that her sister had ended up being a cheater. She felt bad for both of us because she knew that I loved her. She had been insisting that my wife tell me, but after the distasteful prank that she pulled before announcing the pregnancy, Ronnie figured out that she would have to tell me the truth herself because my wife was just never going to do it, especially now that she was pregnant. She told me that she had wanted to click some pictures, but she had been in shock that day when she saw them together and she was out with co-workers as well, so it would be very difficult for her to explain why she was clicking pictures of people at the restaurant all of a sudden. But she went into great detail about what she had seen, and I really don't think that she could have made any of that up. Call it my gut feeling or whatever you want, but when she was narrating the entire incident to me, I just didn't feel like she was making it up. And add to that the fact that by the end of the phone call, even Ronnie herself had started crying, telling me that she really didn't want it to come out this way, but at some point, she owed it to me because I had always been nice to her. She couldn't allow her sister to do this to me, and she wouldn't have been able to forgive herself if I had the baby with her, without ever knowing the truth. Then, she even asked me to forgive her for not being able to provide any proof, apart from her word. I told her that it was fine because I knew that this was probably not easy for her either since she loves her sister. But well, it is what it is, and now we have to deal with it. I've already heard her out, and the only thing that I can do about this now is talk to my wife. It's going to be difficult, but I have to do it. And by talk, I mean really just talk about it. No fighting, no arguing, and no getting defensive. We really need to get to the bottom of this. I just really hope that she is open to an honest and transparent conversation because right now, she doesn't seem very receptive, but I'm still gonna give it a try. I've already spoken to my in-laws, and I've told them that I'm gonna be visiting them tomorrow. I can't do it today because I really need to mentally prepare myself before I see her again. Especially given the topic of discussion, I need to brace myself for whatever it is that I'm gonna learn. Anyway, just wish me luck for tomorrow. Update 3, hi, so I just came back from my in-laws' place, and well, long story short, she did cheat on me. There it is, the truth. I don't know how to feel about this. I guess somewhere deep down, I had already figured it out for myself as soon as I heard Ronnie talk about it. But so far, I had still been giving her the benefit of the doubt because I wanted to pretend that everything was fine and we could still work this out. Unfortunately, now that I know the truth, I can't even pretend that everything is fine anymore and live in denial about all this. Anyway, when I went over to my in-laws' place today, I was nervous, and when my in-laws decided to leave as soon as I entered their house to give us some privacy, I knew that there was something off. When I saw my wife, she immediately started crying and I didn't even need to say anything, she just confessed. I actually went numb at that moment and I had no idea how to react to that information. She just kept crying and she told me that after we started dating for real, she cut him out of her life entirely. She didn't even have any contact with him until after we got married because she knew that she loved me, and now that we were married, she would never have anything to do with him ever again. So she thought it would be safe to give friendship with him a chance because he never gave up on her. He always kept trying to contact her in some way or the other, and she felt bad for him. So a couple of months after we got married, when he tried to reach out to her through a couple of friends to tell her that he was back in town and he wanted to meet her just once, she decided to go ahead with it. She didn't think that anything could go wrong because she was sure of her feelings for me, and now that she was married, even he had said that he just missed having her in his life because they had been friends for a long time too. So she went ahead and got lunch with him one day, and decided that she would tell me about it later instead of discussing it with me first. But she never ended up doing that because, after lunch, they ended up hooking up anyway. And she thought that she would block him again and cut him out of her life, but she just couldn't. He stayed out of state for work, so he would visit every couple of months to meet his parents, and that's when they would meet. And every time, she would apparently decide to put an end to their affair, but every time, she would fail. Then, of course, the last time that they met, which was 3 months back, she was caught by Ronnie. And everything that Ronnie had said had been true. She had been hiding everything from me and had been begging Ronnie not to tell me about it. When she made the pregnancy announcement, she didn't take into account that Ronnie would be there too, and probably wouldn't like the whole thing, given the circumstances. She thought it would be funny to play that prank. She totally forgot about everything else. And she genuinely did not think that Ronnie would make an announcement at the party about the affair, especially after she had just told everyone that she was pregnant. This baby was apparently supposed to be the key to repairing her marriage, because after she had found out that she was pregnant, she had even texted her ex and told him that she was keeping the baby and that she didn't want to see him again. So the next time he would come here, they would not be meeting, and she had even blocked him after finding out that she was pregnant. That hurt to know, because technically, even her ex knew that she was pregnant before I did. Anyway, it hurt even more that she was going to hide the affair from me forever, and I was just going to have to suck it up and deal with it if Ronnie hadn't made that announcement at the party. I had been feeling doubtful about whether the baby was even mine or not, but she reassured me that the baby was definitely mine because she was just a couple of weeks along, and the last time that she had met and hooked up with her ex, it had been more than 3 months ago. So it was almost impossible for the baby to be his, but by then, I had heard enough. She was still crying while confessing everything to me, and after she was done explaining, she told me that she really did not want me to go. The reason she had gotten so defensive when I actually tried to check her phone the last time was that she knew that she was guilty and she didn't want me to find out. But after thinking about it, long and hard, she had decided that she had to be honest with me. Because she couldn't start this new chapter of motherhood, based on a lie, and I guess she had finally developed a conscience, which is why she was telling me the truth. She told me that she was ready to accept whatever decision I made, but in all honesty, she did not feel ready to do all of this alone, so she would really want me to consider marriage counseling so we could try and fix the problems instead of heading for divorce. I didn't know what to say to her, so I just told her that I needed time to think about everything. And I do. I need a lot of time to process whatever I have been towards so far, because I just realized that I've been cheated on for the past 2 years and I'm questioning everything that I've known. I don't even know if she loves me, and it sucks that I'm sure that I still do. But love is not enough, definitely not when she's about to become a mother and I'm probably about to be a father. With a baby on the way, I don't want to take any chances. So I have to be very careful about what I decide, whether I want to give our marriage a chance or not. Whether I even can afford to do that, given the circumstances, because I'm not sure I can ever deal with this or trust her again. And if I can't, it'll be pointless to try marriage counseling because we will just end up fighting, and I don't want to ruin my baby's life by forcing him to grow up in an unhappy home. So I'll have to think about this, and only then will I be able to come to a decision. I'm still reeling. I haven't been able to process anything, and I feel like I'm on the verge of breaking down. But at least I know the truth now. I don't know how I feel about it, but anyway, I can't change anything about the situation now. Update 4. Hey, guys. So it's been 1 week since my wife confessed to me, and a couple of days ago, I told my parents about what I learned. My in-laws are probably already aware of the truth. I'm guessing that's why they had left the house that day. Anyway, when I told my parents, they were shocked, and while speaking with them, I finally allowed myself to break down. I had been trying to hold myself together all this while and put up a strong front because I still had to behave like nothing was going on when I was at work and stuff, but I just couldn't anymore. I think I cried for almost half an hour nonstop and let it all out while they comforted me. Now, apart from my wife and her family, and of course you guys, my parents are the only people who know about her affair. I haven't been on speaking terms with my wife, even though she has been texting me every other day, telling me that she's really sorry about everything and she really wants to fix our marriage. But I don't know what to say to her, so I've been ignoring her. I still haven't figured out what I want to do. I love her, but I don't know whether going back to her would be the right thing to do now or not. On one hand, she's pregnant with my baby and growing up in a broken home. That's going to be sad for our future child. But on the other hand, I'm not even sure if I can trust her anymore, as I had said in my last post. I'm very confused. I haven't processed my feelings about this, but thankfully, my parents have told me that no matter what I decide to do about the situation, they are going to try their best to be supportive of me. So that counts for something, and I guess I'll take a couple of days more to think about what I want to do. In the meantime, thank you so much for everyone who has been so supportive of me. It means a lot to me. Especially right now, since I don't really have my friends to count on because they don't know what I'm going through. So this support means the world to me. Thank you so much. Update 5. Hi. So it's been a month since my last update, and a couple of days after I posted, I finally was able to make up my mind about what to do. I realized that no matter what, I would just never be able to trust my wife again. And if I can't trust her, then it doesn't matter if I love her or not. If I decide to give our marriage a second chance and stay with her, regardless of any amount of counseling, we will inevitably end up fighting, and that's just going to make everyone unhappy. So for the sake of my own peace of mind and the future of our child, I reached out to her, and I told her that I would like to get a divorce. I thought she would be hysterical, but she just sounded resigned. We spoke on the phone, and I told her that I would be speaking to a lawyer, and she told me that she understood. She didn't put up a fight or anything, which I'm thankful for, because that would have just made everything even harder than it already is. Since then, I've spoken to my lawyer, we have filed for a divorce, and she agrees to my terms as well because they're fair enough. Also, for those of you who were worried about her trying to dupe me into raising a child that was not my own, that's not the case. We got a paternity test done, just to be on the safe side, and the child is 100% mine. We are discussing custody arrangements right now. It's obvious that we are going to have to co-parent our child, but we just have to work out the nitty-gritty at the moment. Apart from that, it's been a smooth process so far. But that's just the legal aspect. Emotionally, still have a long way to go before I recover from any of this. A couple of days ago, we finally announced our separation on social media so that people would at least know that we are not together anymore. We didn't go public with the fact that she had been cheating, but my close friends know about her infidelity, and they have been incredibly supportive of me. And with everybody's support, I'm sure that I'll be able to feel better about all of this soon enough. For now, I guess I'm just gonna try to figure stuff out on my own, so I don't think I'll be posting as much. I have my friends and family, and I'm really grateful to everybody here as well. So thank you so much.